All right. Hi, guys. I wanted to make this video for the technology project number 5. This is going to just go over all of the calculator functions that you're possibly going to be asked. A lot of these we do on a regular basis in class, so they should feel very familiar, but just so that all of them are in one place and you have somewhere you can go to study for your technology project number 5, I thought I would put it in a video. So, task 1, which everyone is going to have to do, is you're going to be provided a list 1 and list 2. So you're going to have to be able to enter that data into list 1 and list 2 and then find the sum of each list. So filling out our data, we've done that before. We're going to hit stat and then edit. And then I'm going to give you some set of data for list 1 and list 2. It's not going to be this, but this is what I'm going to use as an example. So I just had values I typed into list 1 and typed into list 2. And then to find the sum, I'm going to exit out of that, second quit. And then I'm going to hit second stat, go over to math. And here I'll see number 5, which is the sum button. So I hit second stat, went over to math, and hit number 5, sum. And then to select list 1, I'll hit second 1, which just puts list 1 there, and I can close the parentheses, and that summed up list 1. And then I'll repeat the process for list 2. So second stat, go over to math, down to sum, and then I'll type in second 2 in order to get my list 2, and that will do the sum of that one as well. So you will all be required to find the sum of a list 1 and a list 2. And then the next task, you're only going to be doing 3 of the 7 or 3 of the rest of the list, but I just want to go through each of them with you. That way, regardless, you'll be prepared for your final and for the assignment. So the first task is to calculate a one variable statistic from the data in list 1. So we already have data in list 1. We'll keep that data there, right? So if I hit stat edit, we'll use that same data from list 1. I won't have you retype it, but now this time when we hit second stat to find one variable statistics, we hit stat, go over to calc, and we pick that one var stats. We ask it to pick from list 1, and there is all of the one var stats that I would be asking you for. So that's that first one on the list. The next one is to create a box plot for the data in list 1 in the appropriate window. Again, we're going to use the same data that's in list 1. So then to make a box plot, we hit second y equals. We'll go to plot number 1, turn it on. Then we're going to go to type, and we're going to select the box plot that has the line through it. Select that. We want it to come from list 1. And then remember, to make it an appropriate window, we hit zoom and then 9. And there's the box plot that I would ask for. Okay, so then the next one is to calculate a linear regression model for the data in list 1. Then display this equation with a scatter plot of the data in L1 and L2 with an appropriate window. So, to make a linear regression, so again, we're going to use the same data. We were not going to change this data. So then what we're going to do is we're going to have to run a linear regression. So to do that, we hit stat, calc, and we go to number 4, which is our linear regression. List 1, list 2, and then we can hit calculate. So there is our A and our B value. So then that's what we're going to use when we make our linear regression. So then what I'll do from there is I'll let you write these values down so that you can transfer them to your y equals, but you'll go to y equals. You'll type in that line. So I would have y equals 0.67, 0.67x plus 27.5. That was the A and B value that I was given. So then to graph that, we're going to go back to that second stat plot. We're going to have to change this because we're not doing a box plot anymore. We're doing a linear regression. So we'll pick this as our type. Pick out of list 1 and list 2. And then again, hitting zoom 9 will put everything on the screen that we need. Great. So the next one on your list is to calculate a linear regression model for the data in list 1 and list 2, then display a residual plot for the data in list 1 and list 2 with an appropriate window. So I will have to make a residual plot of this. To do that, again, we have our same list, but now I want to run a residual. So remember what we did is we'd go over to list 3. If we highlight the top of list 3 and then hit second list, go down to number 7, which is residual, it produces that residual for us. So then when we graph now, to graph a residual, we graph L1 and L3. We won't need this line and from our y equals anymore. So we go to y equals and we can exit that out. But we'll go to our stat plot. Oops, second y equals. Go to our stat plot. We'll keep it here. Just remember now this needs to be L1 and L3. So you hit second 3. And then again, to get to what the screen to look nice, we hit zoom 9. And there would be our residual plot. Great. So then moving on, our next one says solve a binomial distribution problem given it the value of n, p, and then multiple x values. So to do that, let's get out of this. We're going to hit second vars, and then we go down to our binom PDF. And then I will give you values here. I'm just going to make them up right now, but I'll give you values. So let's say out of 10 trials, my probability is 0.3, and I want to find the x values 0, 1, and 2. So I'm going to find 0 first, put that in there. And then remember, if we want to find 1, we can just highlight this, change that to 1. And then to find 2, we'll just repeat that same process. And then I want to add up these 3 values together. So we'll highlight it, hit plus, highlight it, hit plus, and highlight to find our answer. And that would be the sum of those 3 x values. All right, so then the next one says calculate the probability of a normal distribution given a mean, a standard deviation, and the lower and or upper bounds. So to do this, we go second vars, we go to normal CDF, and then I'm going to give you some sort of upper and lower bounds. I'm going to give you all of this information, so it's just typing it in correctly. Let's say my lower bound is -1e to the 99. My upper bound is 70. My mean is 75, and my standard deviation is 12. Again, all of those numbers will be provided. You just have to be able to compute this or find this on your calculator and type it in. So then when I hit paste, I produce my normal distribution. All right, the next one, calculate the score for a specific percentile in the normal distribution given a percentile, a mean, and a standard deviation. So to do that, we hit our second vars, go to our NV norm. Again, I'll give you an area. So let's say I want the bottom 25%. My mean is 16 and my standard deviation is 7. Again, those will be provided for you, as well as if I want you to do which side I want the tail to be on. So then if I hit enter, it computes my normal or what my cutoff score or specific score in that percentile would be. All right, the next one says calculate a confidence interval for a population proportion given the confidence level, the n, and the x. So to do that, we're going to hit stat, go over to test, and we do a 1 prop z interval for our population proportion. So I'm going to give you an x value. Let's say I say it's 100. My n value was 250. And I want to run a 95% confidence interval. Again, I'm going to give you those 3 values. So you hit calculate, and there's the interval that I would be looking for. And then the last one says calculate a confidence interval for a population mean, given the confidence level in the mean and the standard deviation. So to do this one, we also go to stats, over to test, and this one we pick t interval. And then we're going to have stats here because I'm going to give you the numbers to use. So let's see, I say that the mean is 54, the standard deviation's 21.3, your N is 150, and you're calculating a 90% confidence interval. So then you'd hit calculate, and there would be your confidence interval. Again, all the numbers you need to use are provided for you. The only thing you need to be able to do is figure out where is the right place to go to type in those values and type them in correctly. So hopefully this video just kind of outlined all of the things you have to be able to do and reviewed them all for you in one place, so you'll be ready to do your technology assignment.